What a do, what a do, what a do. What a do. Welcome back to Low Energy Videos, where I'm your host, Krendar. And today we will be playing a game that unfortunately has no opening screen, so that's why you're gonna watch this for a few more seconds while I actually get it. Let's turn media source off, turn this on, and hope that it should look on automatically. Arthur, how you doing, my dude? How are you doing? Looking forward to trying this one. It's very story heavy. It's very different from what we normally do on this channel, which is a lot of shooting. And it's something I saw Jim Sterling play when it first came out. It's pretty interesting.
Night has fallen and you're weary from travel. Stars fill the sky above, and in front of you is a brightly lit wooden house, the only building you've seen for days.
Okay, you guys can hear that pretty well. He's got a hell of a voice. Go to the house.
You walk toward the house, hearing the sounds of laughter and talk as you reach the door and push it open.
You don't bother to knock, because you're uncouth and most likely were raised in a barn. I have very little knowledge of this guy myself. Yeah, that's me, alright. He's skinny. And I didn't have a bindle. Wish I had a bindle. Ooh.
You sit down and join the game. It's a cheap buy-in, and not many of the other players are very good.
You say that out loud. You're not good at making friends.
The lady fiddling with dice gets good cards, but has no real strategy. The man to your right seems to just hold on to the highest cards he has, regardless of suit or any consideration of matches.
Me, basically.
The man in gray across from you, though, he's good. He already had the largest pile of coins when you bought in, and while your winnings grow quickly, you can't quite catch him.
Also, he's a furry. Probably drinks Orangina. Call back. They're all skinwalkers. Yep. This is the Southern Gothic universe in the 30s.
One by one, the other players leave the table, sometimes with pique or with wry humor, leaving their winnings with you or the man in gray.
This is what D&D games were like back in the Depression. They used rocks for figurines. Someone threw a harmonica down.
Finally, it's just you and the man in gray. He looks at you, full of humor, and winks. Last hand?
No, I have two more. Oh, yeah, okay.
He deals, you draw, and look at your hand. It's good. It's great. The best hand, in fact. A royal straight flush. Spades. Aces high.
Damn. That's when you realized he's a wolf and will rip your throat out. Remembering something you don't know the reference to because it hasn't been invented yet. Let the Wookiee win. You concede the match and walk away.
But the man in gray pushes forward his whole pile. You're not sure exactly how much it is, but it's more than you've got. You can't match that. The man in gray stops you. Now, if you like, I'll let you wager your word. I know you'll be good for it. Just promise you'll pay the debt, however I ask.
The whole time we haven't made a single devil joke yet. This reboot of Cuphead is not what I was expecting at all. Okay, so you have my word or check cards. Ooh. Ooh, I like the sound of that. Sounds like somebody's clicking an old pen they found at a bank. What should we do? Take his word. Check them cards. Hey there, Bill. First come, first serve.
Yep. 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. All spades.
You ain't lived if you're not close to death.
The man in gray smiles. All right, then. I'll call.
What? Why did you cook? Yep, called it. Furries. Dire wolf.
Well, your luck wasn't so good, was it? That's quite the hand, but not for the game we're playing. I'm afraid you owe me. Your life, sure, but more than that. Your labor.
Oh, good. I think we are now indebted to the devil. In the meantime, just getting strong Red Dead flashbacks.
You see, this land is built on stories. It's one big story, this country, woven of many small ones. Few of the small ones are strictly true, and the big story is mostly a lie. All the stories and songs and myths and legends start somewhere, with a seed. As they're told and retold and passed around, they grow and change to become the stories we know.
Oh, okay, buddy, but I'm bopping. So, can you go and harvest my soul or make me your indentured servant after this? This is my jam. Oh, stop looking at me like this. Fine. This is points.
To pay your debt to me, you'll be carrying stories. Finding the seeds first and then spreading them. Telling them onwards so they can begin gaining strength. This is no light task. Stories are heavy.
No, they're not. I've got like at least 50 in here. Like 50 or 7. I've got 49 in here.
Most of the stories you'll find will be small seeds. They might be true, but they grow wild and unbelievable with the telling. The more important stories are the true ones, the ones people will tell you about their own lives. Those often get lost in the weaves of the big story. The more true stories you can find and tell, the more you can weave that truth into the big story. Tarnish it a bit perhaps, but isn't a dingy and battered truth better than a shining lie? Now, go ahead. You tell me a story. I'll trade you some information about your task.
Hold on, I have to pay you to know how to do my job right? This is America. The town. Death. Changes. Ending. Missy Ann would be great here. She is a gypsy witch after all. Fortune, fate, of luck. The world. Heaven, desire, fulfillment, wishes come true. travel. Tell the story of the northbound train, making its giant eyes and crawls through the night.
Travel? That's your job. Wander from place to place, gather those stories and spread them. People get bored hearing the same stories over and over. But an old cliche in one state might be a rip-roaring new yarn in another.
Replace state with bar, and that's me wandering from bar to bar. So I think that means I meant to travel a lot. Heaven, desire, village, world. Tell the story of the parting of clouds. The fog reveals brief glimpses of the land, promise, and plenty.
Your deepest desires, your greatest wish, heaven? Big Rock Candy Mountain? El Dorado, the promised land, that place just over the ridge where they all say that the water tastes just like the sweetest wine.
Tidal drop.
Well, I don't know where that is.
And I'm the fucking devil.
It's supposed to be somewhere in this country. Ask the people you meet. They're all searching for the same thing.
How shitty would it be to be the people around the devil who lost already? Like they're like, oh, I wanted to be indentured to be the storyteller of the fallen one. Fortune, fate, and love. Death changes, endings moving on. Tell the story of the black and gray city where every building is filled with disappearing corpses. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll strip away your flesh to make the journey easier, but still you will feel pain.
Look, obviously, you stripped away my fucking flesh.
Hunger, weariness, thirst, and despair. They're all part of stories, the part not often told.
Except you're an edgelord, like those World War II movies where people's limbs get blown off.
And death, yes. But don't worry. As long as your task remains, you come back.
Okay, so there's no permadeath. Fortune, fate, and luck. Tell the story of the tossing pair of bone dice on a blood-red velvet table. Whoops, snake eyes. These sound all like lyrics.
It's just luck. Funny how bad luck seems to follow the folks who already have problems aplenty.
You don't say.
Well, try your luck out there in this country. See how the dice treat you.
I'm sure they'll treat you well. It cuts him being black. I don't know if you're being facetious or not.
It's not all bad. You'll have to work hard. But I'll give you the gift for seeing the true shapes of people.
You have to know how big exactly their penis is. Trust me, good with that.
Not many who can do that.
Tell the story of the endless series of doors and different kinds of ancient doors. Mordor.
You'll sometimes have to make choices about what kind of story you're finding. Is it a love story?
He's just giving you
Or a tragedy.
messages, but he's doing it in a very flowery.
Don't gather too many of one kind, though. This grand story needs variety.
Variety.
Go on your way, seeker. Maybe we'll meet again, or maybe not. Either way, it'll be an experience for you.
Taking a shit is an experience for most people.
I'm jealous in some ways.
They can't take a shit.
I hope you find what you're looking for.
Constipated.
This bungalow is being ransacked. There's furniture piled in the front yard, ammunition heaped under the mailbox, and a crowd of clean-cut men ripping apart a car in the driveway.
They don't look clean-cut, and they don't even really look like men. But, you know, maybe.
The two heavily armed, mud-caked women leaning over the porch railing share the same bored grin. One shouts at you. "Lend a couple innocent gals a cigarette?"
Well, last time a bunch of girls asked me for a smoke, they shot me.
You're about to hand her a smoke when those men draw pistols and shove you hard into the dirt. "You know these girls?" they demand.
No, I just wanted to give them a bone job. Get it? By the way, I'm a talking skeleton. Like, are you not even a little bit?
Once they've dumped your bag out into the road, they decide you're harmless. "If you were selling booze too, you'd have a lot more cash," sneers one. On the porch behind him, the two bootleggers are fingering their empty rifles, grinning in disappointment.
'Cause when the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be
Oh my
my
God,
tale,
bro.
my vagrant song.
Fucking, I'm getting out of this shithole. Oh,
This
free
will
healthcare.
be my tale, my vagrant song.
Real car at home my pants, but the worst part about it was border jumper. No passport yet. Ooh, look at he's got pears and peaches. Yeah, I can lower the audio, I think. There, that should be able to do it. I'll also be extra awesome and do this. There, that's about as good as I can make it. You're all awesome people, but terrible more so, and that's why I'm indifferent to you. Ooh, and also hello everyone. Hello. California, minimum net. Okay, so I can't seem to make it up into the category. In-game manual. Sure. Go and fulfill your obligation to the wolf. Call him the devil. Finding all 16 characters scattered over the US and trade stories with them until you earn the trust and finish their story. Okay, that's the gist of it. You do it by telling your own stories. So we live in a story utopia. Maine? New Hampshire! Well, that explains what everything shit, we're in Maine. Oh well, let's go to Portland. See if we can spot Stephen King. He just drives you over in his car. I'm God here. Yeehaw, Western song. Wait, no. Stick it in my butt. Stick it in your butt. Stick it in my butt. Okay. There you go. Make cyanide and happiness for that one.
They don't come every year, you know. The old man is sitting at the edge of a rotting old pier, crooked legs dangling over the water. He watches a pair of seagulls preen and groom each other on a rock just off the shore.
Okay, watch the seagulls or ask why. Much better song. No mate. Well, I am in New England. so I can get some really shitty maple syrup.
Just when the fishing is gonna be good. He taps great, black, thick globs of spent tobacco out of a huge ceramic pipe. I got another year, I guess.
One more year or what?
Another year of this town being here, he replies, letting a grin spread across his face. If the seagulls came, that means enough fish to keep it in place.
Different Portland. We're on the other side. We're on the New England side. This is going to be working class Portland, where everyone can't afford to live there and everything's shutting down because there's no fish. The seagulls and the fishermen. Okay. Interesting. What's this?
The woman walks the small town square with the poise of Betty Davis. A confident stride and inimitable mannerisms elevating the sidewalk into a plush Hollywood carpet. And wrapped around her neck, a yellow velvet ribbon, bright as an ocean sunrise.
She suddenly then farts, that turns into a shart that we all hear. Mortified, she rushes out in front of incoming traffic and is ripped apart by a semi. The side on the semi reads Dr. Pepper. What's the worst that could happen?
To question a well-dressed man parked outside an oyster house. Prudish woman. I took her on a fine date and she didn't remove so much as a ribbon.
Ooh.
Excuse me, can you step back from the coupe? That's the spirit. You decide to seek a second opinion. You talk with a waitress smoking outside a diner. Something funny about her. Just showed up one day. Doesn't work, doesn't live anywhere as far as I know. Just around. Myself, I'd love to know who made all her beautiful clothes.
Approach the woman or ask, should I keep asking around or should I have the bulls go up to her? I mean, I am skeleton hobo man. Say what you want about Portland, but I can't imagine there's many of them around in town. Plus, everywhere I go, I got my own smooth, countrified soundtrack. Ask her or approach the woman. Still love that noise. There's a can boning. Well, first come, first serve, chat. Approach the woman or ask around. Don't know why this World War II music kicked up, but okay. I'm gonna approach the woman. I'm gonna have the balls you don't.
You ask the woman if you may join her at a public bench. You may. Lovely outside, isn't it? Her eyes are a beautiful shade of brown. Beneath the yellow ribbon, a thick, fibrous scar wraps around her throat. Weather like this, it reminds me of Paris.
Gay Paris, perhaps? No. Heterosexual Paris. Done.
You can see storm clouds on the horizon, and you don't relish the thought of being caught wandering this rocky seaside road in the rain. Fortunately, you find the lighthouse door open, with a daunting staircase before you.
Even though, in reality, you can't really go near any lighthouses, because they're normally walled off. So you'd have had to break down the fence. Okay.
At the top of an ornate wrought iron spiral, you're breathless and feeling the strain on your knees. Rain already batters the walls outside. You can only knock on a heavy wooden door leading into the upper level. Muffled voices and light seep in beneath the door.
I'm gonna say horny teen couple.
Looks like we got a visitor. Sounds like a man's voice, deep and rough.
Well, behave yourself. I'll open the door.
Yep, called it.
Another man,
Sexy,
this
sexy
one
teens.
with a higher, more sonorous voice. I always behave myself. He feigns indignation, but his tone betrays affection instead. After a moment, the door unlatches from the inside and opens. The man before you is tall and muscular, with a hint of a paunch beneath his wide chest. The heavy iron knob on the door looks nearly dainty in his huge hand.
Didn't want to be out in this rain, did you? Come in.
Is this the start of some sort of The Lighthouse porn?
Despite the rough exterior, this room looks like a well-appointed parlor. There's a rug on the well-trod wooden floor and an enormously plush couch. And sat upon it is a stocky fellow grinning through a great hazel-colored beard. Tea? He offers, hoisting a teapot.
Okay, now what you want to do is every time you ask around, you should really try to keep variety. So if I do this, it's the same. But if I do this, it's like gives you a smiley face, and that's different. Been here long?
A few years.
The tall one sits on the sofa, wrapping his arm casually around the other lighthouse keeper. 5, says the smaller, but by no means small, man.
That long? Time flies. We traveled together before that. You must have some good stories from the road, huh?
I do. Totally not gay couple living in a lighthouse, that's a penis metaphor.
You wake up the next morning on their old sofa, still warm from an excess of tea. And cakes? There might have been little cakes. Prodigious snoring rumbles in from the floor above you, and you quietly take your leave.
Aw. Two lighthouse keepers banging away on their giant wet penis. Maine, you have done me a service I will not soon forget. I must leave now and head into the nightmare that is New Hampshire. Oh, cute hitchhike. That's cool. I like that little feature. Now I can completely ignore New Hampshire, but fuck that. I want to say I've did a story in every single state. So starting in Maine, now we're moving up to nope. Wow. So there's nothing going on in New Hampshire. Well, that sounds about right. Be gone, you worthless state. You aren't even as pretty as Vermont, so the legends go. I'm over there somewhere. All the way over there. Are we entering the Commonwealth? I think we are, for we're in the spirit of Massachusetts. Great city of Boston awaits, but first, here's a house.
A dusty truck and a man on horseback pull up next to one another in front of the grocer. Suddenly, the driver and the rider, two wiry old men with identical haircuts, start shrieking at one another.
What's going on here?
The man with the truck leaps into the street.
Brother!
He shouts. The one on the horse tumbles out of his saddle.
Brother!
He screams. They embrace in the road.
30 years!
Hollers the driver. The rider, tears streaming down over his face, corrects him.
No! 32!
I've been in an airport where something like this happened, and apparently it wasn't 30, it was like 15. Still, damn.
Everyone here is watching these two older men cry and hug one another in the middle of Main Street. Cars and wagons are backing up. People are yelling.
Take a photo of us!
The driver begs you. Starts hauling a tripod out of the bed of his truck.
Say cheese.
The long-lost
Ooh, make some
brothers
money.
pose in front of traffic, cry snot pouring out of their noses.
Christ not.
As angry
There's a name for a YouTube
passerby
channel, Christ
wave
not.
you out of the road, each brother presses a coin into your hand. When the traffic disperses, you realize they overpaid you quite a shocking amount.
$2 American. Enter Boston and say goodbye to those $2 American. Red brick, green trees, blue sky. In this weather, Boston is beautiful. That is till you make your way deeper in the city and get lost in the cramped, winding shadows of haunted old street. Okay, so let's do a bit of let's explore first in Boston.
This city is like no other you've been to. Crooked streets splay out in a maze of narrow passages, no two alike. Soon, you find yourself in twilight, utterly lost. Bright light crests around one corner, a car approaching.
Keep walking or hail the taxi cab. Let's keep walking.
Unable to afford rescue, you keep walking. The asphalt turns to crooked cobblestones that threaten to wrench your ankle out of place. Was this always a moonless night? The stars multiply, each one looking like a pinprick through which light is exiting the terrestrial world. It's hard finding your way through in pitch darkness. You go by touch and sound, feeling the scale of the streets by the echoing of your footsteps, fingers tracing the rough surface of the buildings. And then, a rumble of noise in the distance.
Buffalo. For some reason, buffalo have left their ancestral mating grounds of Buffalo, oddly enough, and went to Boston.
You quiet yourself, suddenly fearful.
Keep it humorous.
The clear sky tells you it's not thunder, but cannon fire. The city comes alive with fires and shouting. You find yourself trampled by a mob of men in thick brown coats, a phalanx of bayonets advancing up the street.
The fuck?
When you come to, there's no sign of the commotion, the war that you were just caught in. The comically shrill honk of a Model A running up the road startles you, and you crawl toward the sidewalk. Above, the sky is a sharp, cold, cloudless blue.
Then you realized you had been drugged. Let's earn some money. Wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. Panhandle or look for work. Oh, let's be honest here. If I'm gonna be a wandering hobo, I'm gonna panhandle first. Man, nice suit, looking very pensive, strolls up and sits here beside you. Hey buddy, spare dime. You look good. Nods directly. I've been working on it since I was a little fella. I worked my way up to the Top and Belt Company from nothing. He hasn't even given a look at you. Doesn't need a response. No, it's back to nothing again, besides. Oh, he's been let out of work. Probably because he was blind. He looks at your way first. Here, suddenly pulls a well-worn bill from his pocket. My first and now my last. Don't really need it anymore. He hands you the money and with a jaunty spree of his steps strolls toward nearby railway underpass. Oh, fuck. Well, that was morbid as shit. Store. Hot apple cider. Clam juice, orange juice, iced tea. How about we get ourselves some chowder? We are in New England, after all. We need some good chowder. Only a cupful, but damn, it's filling. Train station. Can go direct to New York or Detroit, but no, that's good. I'll be on the road where the fuck I'm going. Now, what's that there?
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep that.
By nightfall, the hospitality of this sleepy hamlet, combined with their superstitious tales, has both overstuffed your stomach and filled you with a hollow dread. Folks say these woods are full of apparitions,
Oh,
witches,
for God's, what was
and
it? Did I
worse.
stop over at Sleepy Hollow?
You curse yourself for getting on the road so late. In the moonlight, every valley and hollow at the feet of the Tappan Zee seems like a stolen shred of the abyss itself. Fireside tales seem less fanciful, and every cackling crow and moaning whippoorwill seems like a demon perched on the shivering, spindly trees. But something cuts through the noise. The muffled sound of hooves galloping on the cold, muddy road. When he finally slows his horse alongside you, it's as though he had just appeared out of the mist.
Or out of a Tim Burton movie.
He's astride a gigantic black courser, and though his boots are muddy and ragged, he wears an immaculate coat with great shining buttons. From his saddle hangs an antiquated flintlock and a cavalry saber. In the darkness, you can hardly see above his towering shoulders. His voice is a rumbling croak, deep, but as though his throat is filled with thorns. Have you happened upon a cannonball around here? You can tell English isn't his first language. German is. His hand, so pale it's almost blue in the moonlight, grips the reins in a fist.
Sorry I haven't, or run the hell away. I am going to be polite to the Hessian apparition.
You mumble an apology and watch as he silently rides away, back into the mist. He's cloaked in black, you notice from behind, but the blood running down over his shoulders glints crimson in the moonlight.
Right. So, what crazy hell is this? Camp. You wouldn't camp right by the road. Quinn.
Hey there, stranger. You're welcome to enjoy this fire with me, if you're respectful, that is.
Yeah, I can do that. By the way, are you a rip-off of Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer? By the way, you have a knife. 2 dogs that you probably feed human flesh to. This is how children used to be raised. Before all them PC people came around.
This here is my spot, and I ain't inclined to share it with any bad characters. You can call me Quinn.
Thanks. I'm a talking skeleton, controlled by the devil. You can call me... I don't remember my name. Quinn. Call me Quinn.
These here are my venturing companions. Cass is the big un, and the one with the spots is Flip.
Sure. Can I ask why you sound like you're from Mississippi or something when this is like New England?
I usually beat my way on the rails, but the road news said this town was fat and the weather was fine. So I'm taking in the sights and seeing what I can drum up.
You have any meth, mister? I'd really like some meth.
I want to hear one of them venturing tales. Got any?
We're gonna be subject because the boss likes the tarot cards. The subject of each story here, you will tell the person a story about love, for example. They will tell you something from their own life related to the subject of love. Poor things. As the night goes on, the icon will move left to right. When it reaches the right side, the night is over, so is your storytelling. The person you're talking to will usually tell you where they'll be next so you can find them again. If you tell them the type of stories they request, you'll gain trust and their eyes will open, which opens fully the next time you meet them. They'll open more about their lives. Remember this from conversation. So don't feel you need to open your eye all the way first time to meet someone. Dance around and get to know them. See folks, that's how you actually start making friends. You don't force the issue, ease it in. Right, so he wants an adventurous story. Emperor, the Sun, the High Priestess, Queen of Cups, Sadness. How about we start off with the past? Boy, hold on, what's this one? Bondage, trap, and imprisonment. Is this kid 18? Let's make him 18 tonight. Oh god, no, context is key. Context is key. Right, so he wants one of those adventurous stories. Let's do that. Tell a story of the two lighthouse keepers near Portland. Oh no. Tell a story of the woman arrested for bootlegging in Maine. Okay, yeah, that's actually a better one. Woman arrested for bootlegging.
Whoa, quite a story, stranger.
Okay, you like that one.
Authority, bosses and such.
Yep.
I ain't nobody's little Angelina, if that's what you're asking. I take care of myself and my dogs.
Angelina. You gonna say that's a little girl? Smart, calling yourself a boy. Hey, I'm a boy. Oh, sorry, you'd be one of... Oh, right, yeah.
I don't need no jocker looking out for me, so if you're offering, don't. Shoot, I thought I told you to be respectful. You want to keep enjoying my spot or not? Hey, tell me a funny story. You seem like you still got a sense of humor.
So we're the two brothers who reconnect after the years. The elegant woman in the small town of Portland. The rider in the woods around Boston. There's no real funny stories. Housekeepers in Portland, Maine. It's not really funny. She goes, oh, they're all shit. This is like me telling a furry story. They always end sad. Alright, I'll tell him the story of the Boston.
Were you trying to scare me? Well, you didn't go far enough. Well, I don't know a whole lot about the past, but they say there's an Injun grave around these parts. Say it's haunted and full up with angry spirits. I used to love hearing stories of cowboys and Injuns fighting it up. would swap tails with the youngins. But, well, I suppose if someone shot me, I'd be pretty vengeful too. You got any happy stories?
Yeah, actually I do.
Now that's a happy story.
Boom.
My family. There ain't no way I'm gonna start jaw flapping about those bastards. Judases, the lot of them. Enough said.
Enough said. Very shouty kid. Very sort of like demanding.
You got any happy story?
Oh, you can only use one card at a time? Oh. Sadness. The future. Bondage, traps, and imprisonment. That's what it is. Story of the seagulls and the fishermen.
Sometimes I need a tale like that just to remind me it's not all depressed out there.
Alright, there we go.
What's my future look like?
That's the video.
I ain't looking for a traveling companion if that's what you mean.
I didn't. I go to bars and gambling joints and opium dens, kid. I wouldn't have let you into a brothel.
I do fine by myself, so just stick to minding your own. I want to hear a story about ghosts or murder.
Easily done.
You spin a good yarn. I was shivering there for a little bit. Traps and such like. Well, one time in Fort Worth, a feller tried to take Cass and Flip away.
Well, that's what you get for going to Fort Worth, kid.
Said a kid couldn't look out for him proper like. That they were fat in Fort Worth and they were going to the pound so that he could find him a good home. Well, before I could much argue, Flip bit the hell out of that busybody and Cass and I joined in shortly. I don't think I ever seen a fella so surprised.
I think I gave him tetanus. He died 3 days later.
Guess I ain't going back to Fort Worth no more. Oh, heck, the night's over already. I sure enjoyed talking to you, but I gotta get on. I think I'll see what's happening up the road this way.
Okay, so here we are. How far? We can do the whole country. Well, that's cool. You hear that, American Truck Simulator? That's where Mr. Bojangles is right now. Hey, look at New Hampshire. Nothing's going on in New Hampshire. Oh, but that means I have to go back to Vermont if I want to do the whole country? Ah, fuck it. I'm not really gonna go to Rhode Island either.
The tramping life suits me just fine. Every day's a venture.
I fought with a raccoon for a tin of meat to eat yesterday. It was good times. Good raccoon meat, too.
With things being so depressed, folks walk around like it's the end of everything good. But it ain't. Plenty nice things to see if you know where to look.
Hey, kid. Want to see a dead body? You're looking at one. Ah, fuck it. Let's go to Rhode Island. So our adventurer went to Rhode Island. Half an hour later, he left, vowing never to make that mistake again. Entering Connecticut, he realized just how poor he was. As you walk down the road, a black crow floated. Why does it have to be black? Why does this race matter at all? It looks at you, cocks its head and speaks. Well, you got a long, long road ahead of you. All these people chase down, or so I hear. laughs. I got some experience when it comes down to chasing folks. Tell me about it. Tell me about it, stud. Well, if you want, go find a friend again and ask them more about their lives. I want better stories this time, though. Here's of you. Did they tell you where they were heading next? Yeah. Hey, the world's full of people. Bet you could find another friend like that if you went looking around. More than one interesting person in this land for sure. Gives a gravelly laugh. That's what humans say anyway. With that, launches off the air and disappears like the mighty Clued. Clued disappeared. Oh, that's interesting. You have a little mini game to walk faster. Now I'm gonna walk through this great night. Except when you know. New York awaits. Entering New York, you find a fat Irishman and steal his hat.
The women are oblivious to your approach.
Oh my.
Their eyes are shut. Their touch, where they hold hands, is gentle. They speak in low tones. One stifles a burst of laughter, but it brings a smile to their faces. "Sorry," says the one who laughed. "Don't be," another assures her. They don't look up.
Pass by quietly.
And we give thanks for those who have left us, who we wanted gone, for the skills to thrive without them, and for the companions who make the effort joyful.
The voice of the youngest wavers. The woman to her left squeezes her hand. This is not a scene to intrude upon.
Oh, so it's feminism circa 1950s. Share this bus stop with an old man who shifts from foot to foot, thumbing his suspenders and watching the passing traffic with anxious focus. Hey, he blurts out, suddenly turns to you. Want to hear a good story? It's kind of what I do in life now, apparently. Or should I say afterlife? With the air of a man who's distracted himself from something, he stumbles quickly through a tale about the two brothers who wandered seeking one another for 50 years. Confusing himself now and again, he backtracks, and new details has order. You barely piece the story together. Wait a second. Suddenly realized he's told you a twisted version of a story about the two brothers you reconnected after 32 years apart. But massively changed, with a whole new chunks of don't remember. It's true, the old man insists, turning his wincing eye back towards the road, and with that, conversation seems over. The story grew in the telling. Two brothers who wandered seeking... Oh, now you can tell the story, but with a grandioser flair to it. Let's go have a fuck around first. Jet black crow alights on a low branch and twisted tree. Look at you, he calls. Think you got some good stories already? Well, I've heard better, much better. Seems to wink at you. Want to hear my tricks? Ask about stories. The ones you got now, pathetic stuff. Those stories around and they'll come back more exciting, more satisfying. So you always listen to the stories of other folks tell. Their tales are less true, sure, but more useful around the campfire. The boss has a point about the true ones, though, the crow admits. They're extra interesting. And a couple of folks' true life stories, and I will like them, no matter what kind of story they think they want to hear. So they're like the silver bullet for a story tell. They'll be like your mega drop one to convince them. So, I took this goat and a honeycomb into a brothel. I thought it was funny. By the way, folks, don't forget that I will be not streaming tomorrow, but I am going to be streaming from as soon as I get up on Monday. And that's how that's going to be for every hour of 24. I will be doing shots of hot sauce, and there will be fiery Doritos that will be given out as a sort of a penance every time I get a dono. And it will hurt, and I will hate you. What I'm actually going to do is, I'm probably going to combine both hot sauces I have with another pseudo hot sauce, and then I'm going to get the fiery Doritos and ground them down and sort of sprinkle it and do a sort of and you'll know that some things are worth money and some things won't be. Besides that, I'll just be talking to you guys, and the chat room will be open if anyone wants to pop in. Extra interesting, learn a couple of folk truths. Everyone likes to hear them, no matter what kind of story they think they want to hear in your case. Well, everyone's a captain of their own destiny. His verse laster. Ain't no bootstraps in the world that can save you now. Ooh. Choices you make changes that kind of story you tell. That runs feathers. It ruffles the feathers, a sort of shrug. Choose wisely or don't. Okay. I'm not going to pretend I understand fully what's going on, but I'm getting the gist of it. Enter New York City. The air stinks of gasoline and trash. And you're boxed in by brick, but damn, there's something invigorating about that stink. God, you feel like there's an engine in your chest. Yeah, that sounds about right. Earn money. You wander the streets looking for a way to make some. Let's look for work this time round. Digging holes, not what you had in mind, but damn, digging a lot of holes in this park. Foreman assigns you to work group, mix of other disheveled men and women, and send you out to dig a pit by the water fountain. Quiet too. What's this about? No, I need that money. Keep quiet too. Foreman keeps coming on to what you found. At one point, you dig up something suspicious bone-like, and everyone gets really excited. Breaks apart in the foreman's hand though, just like a rotten stick. Damn. By nightfall, your many holes have turned up nothing interesting. The foreman pays you pretty well though. Move on. Okay.
The engines belch black smoke as the ferry churns grey water into froth.
$3 to get you anywhere on the
broad-shouldered
New York
figure
ferry.
leans out over the rail, eyeing the skyscrapers on the horizon. Nearby,
Yeah, it's $3.
a man and a
$3.50.
woman speak in low, urgent voices. He takes her wrist gently. She is weeping softly.
Should we talk to the man, or should we talk... Let's talk to the man. I've got enough sad stories.
The man gives you a once-over as you approach. His newsboy cap is ragged with age.
You look familiar. Did I meet you at Union Square?
Don't think so.
The man shrugs.
Maybe somewhere else. You look like you get around. Me too. When Gramsci was arrested, we all had to flee. The futurists and the syndicalists and all the rest scattered across Europe.
What the fuck?
The luckiest ended up here.
I know what this reference is.
He nods decisively, proudly.
We continued the work.
Motherfucker is a syndicalist and a... Okay, that was some nerdy shit right there. I appreciate that. I'm not gonna spoil it. All I'm gonna say is check up the Wikipedia page on both of those groups, or play Hearts of Iron's Kaiserreich mod. That one's a bit of a good laugh. Imagine communism without the communism. Determined socialist in New York. Alright, let's go and get something to eat. Oh no, can't. Oh, the store, yeah. Fresh bagel, slice of pizza, glass of wine, or PB&J. Oh, let's be honest here. What did I spend like $30 on and receive like 50 of them? Bagels. If I was in New York, I would just live on these two things. Like, let's be honest. Let's go, fresh bagel. New York has some good damn bagels. Oh, you know it. You know it, baby. You know it. Now, I can go as far as Detroit. Really, no Chicago train. You fucking serious? Now we're entering my haunt, my old neck of the woods. I work there. Oh, it's a black crow sitting on the fence post, watching you with unsettling intensity. Hey, it blurts out. Hey, friend, hey. Heard about trains? It gives you a throaty castle. Locomotion. That's the life. Got some good travel chips here. Tell me about travel. Ride a train? For your budget, you'll need to. Hop on a train yard, though. Fast and convenient, but the railroad bullies really don't like when you ride the empty box cars. If you get caught, you'll get beaten. Oh, they will fuck you up if they catch you. Open peck is something on the ground. And they do it as much out of fear, because for all they know, you're a fucking junkie with like a knife or a heroin needle, and they'll just jump at you. So, and if they're caught, they'll lose their job. Like, if you're caught, they'll lose their job for not being ubiquitous enough. So you're on your fucking ass if you ever get on a Union Pacific train. You don't tell anyone about it until like it's years later. You know? Positive side, you meet someone to trade stories with. If you don't like the sound of that, you could hitchhike, find a friendly car. Feel sorry for your landlubbers. No wings, just motors. You can't even cross rivers when you want to, only at safe crossings. You got point there. Always do. Notice the beak as it moves its beak. Before you can tell it melts, it flies. Yep. I'll see you railroad flying, so you had a good point. Let's go and get ourselves some one more story after this one. Further in state. Further south he is. Okay, so there's one of them there. Train yard. Look up, just completely ignored New York State. I mean, I could at least go up to Buffalo.
The stream is a clear, reflective shade of blue. Unusual in this
That's a
region,
Jersey Devil.
where bog iron colors the river's brown. Across the way, a goat with great leather wings laps up the water. Its sunken red eyes fixed on your every movement.
Okay, let's be honest here. This is, without a shadow of the doubt, ridiculous. The idea that there'd be clean running water in New Jersey.
You now notice the unnatural absence of wildlife. No fish swim in the stream. No birds sing in the trees. The winged goat drinks with a forked tongue, only abstractly concerned with your presence.
Let's go with drink water or approach goat. So it's like goat or fish, but without the fish. Jersey Devil or the ooze that made the Toxic Avenger. Let's go with approach goat.
Over the hill, a scorched one-room house lies abandoned, 2 of its 4 walls in ruins. The goat rears up, front hooves curled, and stretches its wings out to their full breadth.
Buddy, you and I have the same boss. Let's not, shall we?
The goat opens its mouth and wails. A protracted, shrill sound, indistinguishable from the cry of a human infant. It only begins to stop when you take several steps back. The winged goat doesn't follow. Instead, it lies down inside the burnt house, surrounded by portraits of a large family, glass frames stained brown from smoke.
My
Okay.
tale,
That was
my
interesting.
vagrant soul.
Bit of Dolce Let's go back up to New York. Okay, let's go into New York. Yeah, there's a few more stories. I had a feeling. Riding them rails, walking through the fields with the devil. We're not going to talk about Jim
Well, I'm gonna scroll my name.
What if you did Will when we get
bare
south?
bones of the
All that far away?
earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into
Low tide on a moonless night.
A sperm.
This beach is long, stretching toward a receding sea. In the darkness, the sand seems coarse and gray. Alien.
Oh,
The stars are dim and
Aliens.
distant.
it couldn't be a giant flying sperm. It had to be an alien, did it?
It outshines the stars with its presence, a streak of sickly colored light, leaving a trail of distorted fire. It slowly creeps along the sky like a vast worm, though you know that, given the distance, it must be moving at great speed.
And of course, look back at the shore? No. Keep looking at the sky.
Its parabola heads south to north. In the far distance, just for a second, a boardwalk town is engulfed in light. With a rumble, its street lamps and windows dim, then go dark. All that you can see emanating from there is an otherworldly color that you can't quite name.
Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. 'Cause when the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
The edge of summer has turned the ocean choppy and misanthropic, and the skies miserably
He talks like
gray.
Ulysses from
The
Fallout.
boardwalk prophetess
New Vegas.
lured you into her tent with a promise to read a fortune for free. Seems like business has slowed to a crawl already.
Sit at her table. Oh, this looks promising.
Before you lie the instruments of her profession. There's tarot cards, Rider-Waite, but also Marseille for traditionalists.
Someone's a fucking
Rosary
card
beads
geek.
and costume jewelry, and of course, the centerpiece, a great glass globe.
Then you realize this is a bong shop.
With practiced theatricality, she goes directly for the crystal ball, letting her eyes unfocus as though she can see a great distance into it. She brings up names, places, asks if you've known someone called John. if you have a relative in Newark.
Well, should I be a dick or should I be a good sport? Let's be a dick.
You deflect her cold reading. What could she possibly know of your life? Her frustration with you mounts. When she abruptly stops talking, you think she's simply given up. But no.
Ask her what's wrong.
Your eyes, she says, her voice suddenly drained of the bassy drama that was her stock in trade.
Oh shit.
You've met him. You've seen him, too. You carry him with you.
Yes. Did you miss me?
The words that come out of your mouth are not your own. They seem unwilling or unable to form properly out of a human throat. They're more like snarls, warning noises of a vicious animal.
Try to move.
The glass globe shatters. Your vision is hazy, and your body is not your own. You came far to get away from me, the voice lodged inside you says. But this one has a way of wandering. The fortune teller has collapsed, cowering. Consider your debt to me repaid. When you come to your senses, you're lying face down on the rough wood of the boardwalk, sore and weak. An empty patch of wood, cleaner than the surrounding planks, is all that remains of the fortune teller's tent.
No one saw it because... story. Well, she lived in New York State. Ooh, Burlington. Finally, we go back into Vermont and do something productive. Although I didn't go to Buffalo.
His clothes are expensive, but unkempt. A tailored jacket stretched and warped out of its best fit by long days on the road. His thinning frame weighs down the boxcar next to yours. You got a light, friend?
Yoink.
You offer a match, which
So it's gonna be a
bends
Colt.
and nearly snaps as he scratches it against the pitted iron edge of the boxcar. Thanks, he mumbles, perching one last cigarette on his lip. Don't rightly know where I'm going.
Right.
You notice how deeply wrinkled his clothes are. It's as though a huge hand plucked him from a high society party and crumpled him up like a sheet of paper. Don't rightly know how I got going either. They built a railway just past Missy Hudson's estate. Damned racket ruined our soiree. Might have been a few bottles of Armagnac too many when I walked down the tracks to tell them to keep it quiet. He drags on the cigarette, but you never see him exhale.
Well, then you realize it's not a cigarette at all. Last bottle of Armagnac. Okay, so I have a new icon over me, and it's like a sleepy sleep, so I don't know what that is. But I'm guessing I run out of energy at some point, and I just go to sleep. Travelers as campfire, all women. Women with long knives hanging from... They use the same picture from their belts. They let you join their camp in exchange for news about the towns you pass by to get here. Maybe they're hiding something. Feel safe getting a good night's sleep here. Move on. Oh, that was convenient. Alright, let's get out of New England and into not shit part of America. My goodness. So, it's a very stylish game. I like the look of it. I like the sound of it. They need more songs, frankly. Maybe it's like regional. Everywhere you go, you get a different tune. And they don't really do well to explain what's going on. Let's go back down to the coast. Once you're down the coast, then it'll be much easier to get my bearings. Hitchhiking only works when you're as far down as the mountain as like on the highways, so that makes sense. Of course, I could always take the roads out of New York. There's a really cool tunnel when you leave the bus station there, Central in New York. It's if you go to my Instagram, my very first thing on Instagram is us leaving that tunnel. It's a nice cool little thing. Oh, yeah, I can ride this one. Yeah. Where do you want to ride you? I mean, no, wait, come back! Alright, we've already gone to New York, so let's keep going south. To the city that claims to be a brotherly love, but I just remember a whole lot of snow in it. Fuck you, lady. Okay, so we're in Philly now. Phil, Pennsylvania. Oh, here's a rail tracks. Try that. Local campsite. We won't go there quite yet.
A few wanderers like you are looking for a place to camp.
We heard there's a Leatherman cave nearby.
They tell you. They describe a locally famous vagrant who hiked this area for almost 30 years.
He's dead now, but his caves are the best place to camp at any town.
Why are they his caves? Like, did he actually hewn them out?
You and the other wanderers find the cave easily, because someone's lit a fire there. As you approach, you see a silhouette bend over the flames with an odd, creaking sound, like a door swinging in the wind. His coat is crudely stitched from leather plates that squeak against each other.
The Leatherman.
One of the others whispers.
A ghost.
The Leatherman must have heard, but he just stares. His face is corpse still.
Of course he isn't a ghost. Or, oh shit, he ain't a fucking ghost.
He's eating, you say, and point out his can of beans.
Je ne suis pas un fantôme,
The Leatherman says, and adds,
idiot. Oh,
bursts your companion.
Canadien.
Soon, he and the Leatherman are deep in conversation, and your group has a safe place to rest.
It's worse than I thought. He's Canadian. It would be better if he was a ghost. Leatherman's ghost. Here's the same old fat man. You share a bus stop with an old man who shifts from foot to foot, tumbling suspenders or watching passers traffic. Want to hear a good story? Same as before. With the air of a man who's distracted himself from something, he stumbles quickly through the tale about the fisherman and a fish called... Yeah, this is called back to... Okay, so now the fisherman's story has increased in Ellen. Okay, so here's a camp. I'm not gonna do that yet. Instead, I'm gonna find Philly, wherever the fuck it is. That can't be Philadelphia. There's like 6 buildings. Proper city. I'll go down to Washington, then go and camp outside of Washington. Never been to Washington. Always wanted to go. Need to get back there when I got money and the world isn't coming to an end. It's hard to look at these shining buildings in the direct sunlight. You feel like an ant crawling among the tombs of giants. Away from the monuments, though, you try to see a little more human. Yeah, when you say a little bit more human, do you mean like full of really poor black people? Because that's... yeah. Earn money. You wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. We worked last time, so let's panhandle this time. No luck today. After hours of roasting the sun, your hat is still empty. You're not sure if it's downtown friendly, though. Everyone here is just as dusty, as hungry, and shabby as you. Oh, that makes sense. Explore.
The mailman's uniform is dated and worn. He sits on the edge of the road, head in hands. He looks up as you approach. Can you help? Car clipped me. I think my legs... well, I'd appreciate it if you could deliver this for me. He holds out a brown envelope.
Okay.
The letter's addressed to a James Gibson Sr., 120 J Street. But the city stymies you.
Yeah.
The blocks
heard
run
that.
straight from I to K. You stop a man for directions, but he shakes his head and laughs. Someone's playing a joke on you. There's no J Street. Over here. A woman in a brown coat overheard your question. She steers you down an alley. Someone's chalked a big orange J on one wall. I thought Clovis was late. Go left up ahead. Old Man Gibson's the third on the right.
Great. By the way, does that mean that the mailman's dead? Because he was just hit by a car, so...
As you round the corner, the world changes. J Street is a place out of time. Like the city forgot an entire street a century ago and carried on around it, oblivious. Even the noise and bustle of D.C. can't penetrate this little pocket. The man who answers is ancient and stooped. He peers at the letter. I think it's from my son. I don't see so well anymore. Will you read it to me? You tear the letter open.
Oh.
It isn't good news.
Tell him the truth or lie. Oh, dude. Tell him the fucking truth.
He fights it, but his face crumbles. Tears roll down his cheeks. It's better to know. I've been waiting a long time for this. His shaking hand takes the letter. Thank you for telling me.
Strange street, lost in time. Well, that was sad. But we're not gonna go camp over here. And if I'm right, that's where the kid is from before. Oh no, Marson by Sidney Beaker, Chapter 1.
My twin brother Paul and I always got into trouble, but we were good.
Why are we all around graves? Is this a metaphor that I'm like shepherding the dead? Am I the Grim Reaper of the American dream? Because there's a metaphor and a half.
We didn't do nothing to anybody until we left. Then we hurt a lot of people. Me, more so than Paul, because he didn't make it through.
It was okay though. They were Japanese and couldn't speak our language.
The march I was on, the bonus army. It's less a bonus and more an acknowledgement of what I've had to suffer. Civilians will never understand. Tell me a happy story. Something to make the world seem kind.
Okay. Faith, trust. Tell the story of the woman praying in the woods around New York. Tell the story of the fortune teller. Tell the story of the Leatherman's Cave. Oh, okay. Tell the woman arrested for bootlegging in Maine. Tell the story of the two lighthouse guys, a strange plumber, the fisherman. I already used that one before. I would prefer not to. Actually, it's bigger now, so alright. Tell the story of the fisherman and his fish calling seagulls.
I liked that one.
Great.
There's some hope left for you too, you know. Don't give it away too quickly.
Okay, that was the right choice.
The future's the issue, ain't it?
Always.
Great War leaves us nothing to go back to.
Wait, the Great
Plucking
War?
up the
So he's
hope
from
and
World War
leaving us
One.
only with the vile and the unforgiving. But anyway, do you know any good sad stories? True ones?
Ooh, yeah. I do. Let's have a look. Wings Adventures? No, we don't know if that is. But the Determined Associates in New York. Rider, tell the story of the last couple. The story of the lights from the skies in the northeast. You wouldn't keep that. The Leatherman, the woman, fortune teller. Oh, again, we don't want magic. Elegant woman in a small town near Portland, Maine. Tell the story of a strange street lost in time of what? Might use that. Again, I want to use magic. Two brothers, that's a happy one. Two lighthouse, maple. Woman arrested. Alright, how about the guy who where is it? Alright, you probably won't believe this one, but fuck it. It's a sad story and that's what he asked for.
Well, maybe you should tell my story to Hoover. I think you might put a crack in his heart.
So yeah, this is like the 30s. It's in between the two wars.
Mods say that we only get as much sadness as we make. Paul's ghost has provided me a little extra.
Oh, don't worry, baby. With the depression on and that guy in Germany causing all the ruckus, it's only a matter of time.
Do you know any happy stories? Hopeful ones?
It's hope. Travel. Two brothers. Alright, because it's expanded, so alright.
For a moment there. Just a moment.
Alright.
I felt better about it all too. My family. They were good to me.
They have to
Mom,
record all
Pop,
these lines
and to
separately.
Paul.
That's interesting.
And to my sister Jessie.
And imagine this is a big studio, so that's impressive.
Some days I wish I could find Jessie again and have her help me. She always liked Paul best. So anyway, tell me a funny story? You seem like you know a few good ones.
But the Leatherman. That's faith and trust. Wings Adventures, Socialist. What's funny? I think the Leatherman is the only. Serve the Leatherman Cave around Philadelphia. Probably won't work.
Yeah, Paul would have liked that one.
Alright.
My faith? God and I haven't been on speaking terms since I got the infection.
No.
I gave the fucker so many chances to make things right, and he hasn't followed through.
You just need the power of the Lord.
Do you know any happy stories? Hopeful ones?
Oh, Jesus. Alright, how about the 2 lighthouse people? Probably not a great one.
Oh. For a moment there. Just
that did it.
one moment. The past doesn't even feel like it happened. It feels like it's happening in every moment, in every slumber. When the memories come back to you, they clutch at you and your heart.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do when you were depressed. You have to fight with that every single day.
Here's the sun. I've got to go. I'm headed up the road this way. Will our paths cross?
Maybe. We're a long way out.
Days come and go and the terrors return. They'll never be able to pay back what they owe me, but I'll always keep at them. What about you? Is there something somebody owes you?
Yes, a falafel. I'll get that back, if I have to burn all of Cleveland down to get it. Okay. And now he's going to tell that story as well. He's going to go and cross it out. I probably won't play this again. This is an interesting game and all, but
Well, I'm gonna
I've got so many
scroll
other
my
games to
name
play now.
on the bare bones of the
What?
earth. I'm gonna dig my
Oh.
heels into the ground.
Can't cross the American
That
River.
very man
I need to grab
come
the
for
hop on
a
the train.
tally of my worth. I
Hop
won't
on a train.
leave much behind to drag me down.
Let's do this. Out of the train yard without catching anyone's unwanted attention. Okay, where are we? We're in Carolina. Fuck. I'll make do. God. It's the same song, but it's just let's go to Florida. Let's get down to Florida and call it a day. But it's the same song, just with different people singing it. Well, the Carolina. Population, only white people. Policeman in the truck on the corner has a pretty wild argument with someone over behind the radio. Noah keeps saying, "No way, listen to me," and the man reader finished wild story about the shootout between female bootleggers and the cop. Okay, so we now have a more...
I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my
His smile lights up the room, or rather the cab of the locomotive. Folks gather round as he holds the pull cord. He's a showman through and through. You'll want to cover your ears now for this next part. Sure doesn't help much. Engineer pulls that chain and the whistle blasts inside your skull. He just smiles through it all. Man must be half deaf. A round of applause erupts from the small crowd. He passes out bubble gum to the shell-shocked kids, half of them in awe, half in tears. Remember now who gets you there on the advertised. Casey Jones. Everyone's all talk as they head back to their seats. That engineer sure is handsome. Gosh. And that whistle sounded just like a whippoorwill, didn't it?
What's a whippoorwill?
Ain't this the way to travel?
This land.
Casey
By
Jones.
and by, I'll see them far and long. When the night come down for to take me home.
Got two good hands. A down tree is flat in the front yard and this porch too. Only sweaty some chopping the movable pieces. Throw into the man's cart. At least he can sell for firewood. Tosses some coins.
My vagrant song.
There's Charlotte. Alright. Let's stick to the coast so we don't get too swamped by the endless mass that is the American continent. Ooh, a plantation house. Surely fun things can happen here.
A sign in town says a farmer is hiring for the sugarcane harvest. A bag-eyed man drives you and 10 hungry strangers out into the cane, where he leaves you. Everyone gets a hatchet, but no instruction. The foreman is missing for some reason. Nobody is sure what to do. A young man in a red jacket stuffs all the hatchets in his pack. "This is stupid," he says. "I'm leaving. You can get $5 for a nice axe like this." He marches off into the cane and others follow. "Don't!" a young woman shouts after them. "It's not right."
Let's stick with let's turn this one to a justice one.
The thief left some hatchets behind, so you and the 3 chumps left start chopping cane. It's brutal work. None of you know what you're doing. "Keep going," the girl calls. Her hands are bleeding, and her face is bright with sweat. Soon, her cane is piled high.
Don't you have to get out from the bottom and then kind of like cut it like that, and that gets it, that just removes it? Because I know there's a way of like not doing it, so you grab like numerous cane at a time, just go like that.
Sometime after noon, the truck rolls up with a boozy foreman riding shotgun. "Good work," he croaks. The girl wipes her blood-pinked hands on her apron to take her pay,
I had a feeling.
but doesn't notice the crumpled body in the back of the truck, or the hatchets heaped beside it.
I'm getting my coin. That's all that matters.
Now I got a crater in my chest. This hole ain't gonna heal. And the swing of guitar strings is about the only
He's small for his age. Boy of 13 or so, sitting on an upturned bucket by the side of a tiny wedge of farmland. The dog, as though by contrast, is massive, an enormous yellow-brown mutt. He's called Rover, the boy explains. "Pa says he can't come with us."
You know what the sad fact is? It's because he gave him a boring name.
"West." You notice the Model A truck on the yard, piled high with furnishings and trunks
California
and
land.
bags and knots of rope to tie it all together. And upon all that, too, yet more dust and grit. "Pa says it has to be better."
Why can't Robert go?
With one toe tip, he scratches a parabola on the dead, dry ground. "Pa says we can't afford to feed Rover no more." You can't tell where the blonde of the dog's coat ends and the omnipresent dust begins. Same goes for the boy's hair. "Will you take him?"
Sure, I mean, rule 101 for panhandling, get a pet. Yeah, they eat. You need to make sure they're fed, but more people are likely to give you food as a result. You should.
Rover follows you eagerly after you feed him the tiniest sliver of jerky. But a few hours later, he snaps to attention, as though hearing some distant noise your ears can't catch. The last you see of him are the markings left by his dirty pelt on the leaves of the underbrush.
Okay. I guess he went and looked for his dog. Ooh, I like this. Preacher watches you with an odd look, suspicion, pity. He beckons you onto the church and starts courting cash out of the donation box. Push. Trying to sense. Well, then I need it more than I do. Jesus. I mean, literally, Jesus. Praise Jesus. My Dark Lord appreciates the donation. Don't know how to work. Hitchhike.
With a wild and righteous sound when they try to throw a wall up, we gonna tear it down. Yeah, when they try to throw a wall up, we gonna tear it down.
Build that wall, MAGA. Fuck you. I'm a charming skeleton. Now we're entering the Georgia. Oh, sweet Jesus. You sure you want to be going this far south, boy? Folks, this don't take kindly to skeletons around these parts. There's a campsite. I don't think I've got enough decent stories yet. We'll make it happen, though. Right. There's 2 more stories here. 3, actually. Maybe 1 expands.
The blistering sun has scared even birds into the shade. But a middle-aged woman and a young couple are still collecting scraps of cotton that the machinery missed. With a ragged voice, the older woman calls to you. Got any water? The 3 of them rush over to you, suddenly reanimated. They pass around your canteen. When you get it back, it's empty. The woman squeezes your hand and sighs with relief. Sweetest thing I ever tasted, she tells you.
Her foreman then beats her to death for touching a white man's canteen.
He sings as he works, his voice warm and soft as the late afternoon sun.
Ooh, this is a new one.
The air's sweet with the tang of recently cut sugar cane.
Molasses.
There's a practiced, almost soothing precision to the way he works. He looks up and nods hello.
Greet the man.
Making molasses,
Molasses.
he says to your unasked question. I sell the black stripe in town. Farmers use it for feed. Bitter as hell. He grins.
That's to try some. It smells strange. That's to try some.
Got some set aside. He comes back with a murky flask, waving off any offer
Oh
of
no, you
payment.
have to help.
I ain't charging. Folks around here need what they can get. Makes a mean loaf of bread. He nods at
Yeah,
the barrels.
I've had molasses.
I'm about done
before.
filtering. Got to boil it next. Lend a hand?
Of course, happy to help. I'm a sweet boy, and so are you.
You help him haul the barrels over to the metal boiler. You pour in the juice and set the fire. It's hot work. He fetches water and dark bread, and you share the small meal and a smile. It's good to find another who takes joy in honest labor.
We can use the rest of this as explosives. Down with the bourgeoisie. The man reads the newspaper with barely contained horror. His grimace spreads wider and wider as he makes his way down a page. Suddenly his frown cracks into something with a little more amazement. Whoa, he says. What's the matter? Reads out a story about the brothers who sought one another for 50 years. And their you're shocked. It's the story of the two brothers who wandered seeking one another 50 years. But some bits changed. You all think it really happened? It's all made up, which is not. And oh yes. He shrugs. Sounds like nods are made sure stuff they print these days.
I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that
This is a very soothing game. Doesn't even feel like there's gonna be a loose stage. It's kind of like just discovering shit, you know?
much to find that
Don't
can be
camp outside
found.
Savannah. Jimmy by Austin Walker.
Evening there. You looking for a sermon or just a chat?
Soul Man!
Don't really matter, frankly. First thing I ever learned behind the pulpit is that every homily is just a conversation. Ain't as one-sided as you might think either. Preachers ain't shepherds, they're cowboys. They gotta run with the flock, keep them directed without fencing them in. So how about you take a seat and guide us somewhere? Lately, my journey's been pretty ordinary, just walking church to church. What about you? Been on any adventures?
Travel, choices, freedom, faith, trust, death, change, and movement. Joy, simple joy. How about... He wants a thrilling story. Sugarcane cutters? Nope. Tell a story to determine socialist. Boy and dog in North Carolina. Tell the preacher man about all the occult shit you do. Heaven desires fulfillment wishes come true. Thirsty convert. Tell the story of the fortune teller and the curse of the northeast. Faith and trust. Woman praying in the woods around you. Tell the story of the fortune teller and the curse of the northeast. The curse in the northeast. What's a thrilling story? Yeah, let's do a thrilling story. I'm literally telling a story about a demon.
Sorry, that kind of thing don't scare me anymore. If that's what we all got faith. Every day we stride out into the world, that's faith. Faith that our time alive is limited, and that we must act during our hours and meant faith that what we do matters at all. We all got faith, see? It's just a matter of whether or not we got belief. You must have seen some pretty wild stuff on the road. What's the most exciting?
Exciting. What's a thrilling story? That's loss. Damn. Okay, gang. What one? He wants a thrilling story. do this. Let's tell them about aliens.
Huh. That one's trying to be scary, right? Don't work. Dreams come true? Well, there are two sorts of dreams. Dreams you live on and dreams you live for. Heaven is as real as God, but it's a dream you live on. It gets you through the week. Promise of the afterlife is a salve for the truncheon bruises.
Right there, buddy. Right there. It's almost like you acknowledge that it's all bullshit.
You must have seen some pretty wild stuff on the road. What's the...
Still wants another thrilling story. Sadness, joy, family. That's happy. Alright, how about this?
I swear I ain't heard a story good as that in
works.
a long minute.
Pretty good too. Okay. So he wants. I suppose he spends all day talking about the shit. He wants some good old-fashioned blood.
Authority? People look to me for leadership, but I tell them that real leadership comes from community.
Community. Children's scrapbooks.
The best preachers are cornerstones, not prophets. Anyway, why don't you tell me a scary story? You must have...
You son of a bitch! You just told me about how it's nothing but scary stories. Oh, let's tell him about the writer.
Oh, you could rattle a congregation's bones, I bet.
Hey, you're not all talk now, are you?
Bondage? Yeah, met my daddy's daddy once.
Damn, that's gonna go. Oh my god. Hey, they were very progressive for their time. I met my daddy's daddy.
One time is all I needed to know that some chains ain't ever coming off you. Don't matter what sort of proclamation a white man in a suit makes.
Oh.
Lately, my journey's been pretty ordinary. Just walking, church to church. What about you? Been on any adventures?
Still wants a thrilling story, but adventures. Sadness, joy, family, the future, past memories. Travel, choices, morality, freedom. Born a dog, term is socialist. Death, change, move on. How about tell the story of the determined socialist now? Oh, I know the one I can use. Where is it? Yeah.
Sorry, that kind of thing don't scare. Choice? Doing right? Well, it's a struggle for all of us, sure. And I do my part to help. But the golden rule ain't only about the fire and the brimstone. It's about facing your neighbor. If you can look the neighbor you wounded in the eye and say, I don't care what I did to you, that's when you really, truly are a damn soul.
Fuck you. You're meant to... Wait, aren't the... Baptists do give you eternal freedom, like eternal forgiveness, don't they? What?
I see a lot of damn souls these days. Well, I gotta get moving on. I have sermon to give in the morning, and the church is a long night walking that way.
How far down we're talking about here? The map needs to zoom out a little bit. Oh, there he's up North Carolina. Yeah. Okay. Well, we won't be seeing him again.
Walk like you're blessed, child. Cause even if you ain't, that's the only way you'll find it.
I am blessed. I'm just blessed by the Dark Lord, that's all. Nope. Going down Jackson. You know where we're going down Jackson? You know we're damn soul.
I'm gonna have to
We're entering Florida.
up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul.
Farmer's loading beside a couple creating berries. I had to watch. Hey, want to hear a wild story? The legendary Gwent Mitch, Richissimo, rootless bootlegger ever. It takes a couple of minutes, but suddenly you realize the story is about the shootout between female bootleggers. When you hear that story, can't remember. I think I know for years since I was a boy. That story happened to me. Bullshit. You're a good joker, I'll give you that. Very good at telling shit between Gwen Mitch and the Riddick. Oh, that's clever. Like the original story is gone now. It's been replaced by a bootlegger. Horse auction is well-dressed man wage you over. Making some big deals today. Franked a bit where you can see. Give me a number 6 as he goes up, okay? You stand in the crowd and wait for it to run back to fetch him. Pays surely well for doing almost nothing at all. I've been like that. I've had that job before. Wasn't it a horse auction?
Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the water.
You rest in a field where a well-dressed stranger talks your ear off on all manner of subjects. The weather, fireflies in summer, how combine harvesters work. After a while, the mood shifts.
Heard my death bones this morning.
Death bones?
Death bones. Heard 'em rattle like clank, clink, clank. More startling than wind chimes in a tornado.
He plucks dry grass and chews on a piece.
Ain't much time left now.
You seem young.
That don't matter. I'm fine. Got my savior waiting at the pearly gates.
The man shifts uncomfortably.
At least I do as of this afternoon, I hope. Nearly knocked the pastor's door down earlier. Sure was good to meet you.
The man pauses, rubs his chin in contemplation.
Don't let the bedbugs bite.
He walks off slow. After his silhouette becomes small in the horizon, but before he vanishes, you see him collapse to the ground.
Damn. The man who seemed alright with death. Anyone hear a wild tale? Leatherman, the ghost hunt in Connecticut. Takes a couple of minutes waiting to hear that story. Can't remember. That story happened to me, even with a tail. Take over the story and mosey on down the road. Story grew to tell. He's a ghost who haunts Connecticut now. This is how tall tales wait for Mary. Sweep the world. We'll get down to the base of Florida and take a little wrap. We got 15 minutes. Yeah, let's make it until 11. Now, I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow, but I am going to be streaming on Monday for the 24-hour stream, of course. I don't know when that is, whenever I wake up, I guess. But I'll be doing shots for donos in terms of hot shots. Not hot shots in the form of open, it's in the form of shots of hot sauce. I want the track marks and that sort of thing. Or the OD. Do I got OD on this hot sauce? So it could be a dick and this donate, whatever. As you can see, it's also for a good cause, so I appreciate it. If not, it's like
No
to see
fence, gate, or sign marks the entrance to the cemetery. Just a moment ago, you weren't surrounded by graves, and now you are. How long have you been stepping on dead folks, fully unaware?
I've done that.
A wood board, bleached white. Unknown. The word was painted on black by a steady hand, each letter signed with a flourish. Whoever made this memorial had more compassion than money. The other graves are the same. Unknown. 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 Handwritten, nondescript. You walk for a while, reading every marker in sight, and not once do you find a name.
Anonymous grave.
Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
I'm in the bayou now. on the entirety of the East Coast now. That's kind of cool. Seagulls scream overhead as you mosey down the beach. At sea, ship crawls along the horizon towards harbour. Sun's a little intense. Serve for a scrap of shade. Let's start by earning some money. You wander around the street city looking for a way to make some cash. Let's look for work. Digging holes, not what you had in mind, but damn digging. What's this about? Keep quiet too. Foreman comes by. At one point, suspicious bone-like. Yeah, same as last time. Okay. Let's go and explore the
You've
city.
enjoyed a break on the beach,
One of the
staring
better
off
places
the
to go
edge
be
of the
homeless is on
world.
the beach.
But the sun is starting to go
Not
down,
in Miami.
and the breeze is getting stronger. As you're about to stand, a man plunks down near you. He sits a polite distance off, but looks at you expectantly.
Greeting Morley.
He smiles weakly. I just got fired. First Spanish-American radio host in the state, and they fired me. They needed to make cuts, I get that, but I'm twice the... He trails off. I don't know what I'm going to tell my wife. I could try the docks, but there's already more men than jobs, and I could barely support the family on what they pay. He hangs his head. And my boy, I can't bring myself to tell them. I don't know what to do. He calms as the sun drops below the horizon. An expanse of darkness is ahead of you. Turning back to the lights of the city reminds you that the world hasn't gone away. After a long silence, he speaks. It's never going to get better, is it?
Yeah, it is. Just wait until Batista's out of office. You're gonna have tons of people who look very similar to you.
It takes you a moment to notice his sobbing over the noise of the waves. I've got to tell them, haven't I? I'll go to the port in the morning and see if they'll take me. You can no longer make him out in the dark, but his hand touches your shoulder as he leaves.
Man is caring about the future. Let's go and get some mojito, scrambled eggs, a Reuben, or a cola. I'm gonna grab a mojito. Fantastic, slow, and what's it serve? Damn right. Homeless? I've got no money, but fuck it.
We need a sixth.
She
I have a
told you,
seance.
beckoning from the steps of a great dark mansion. And just like that, you found yourself sitting with strangers around a velvet-draped table. Her voice is reedy and high, modulated by the tight collar of her Victorian dress.
Join hands, everyone.
Your host keeps her eyes closed as she beseeches
Ooh, I like how
the
she's
spirits of the dead. But everyone else around the table lets one lingering, awkward glance bounce around between them. You sense they're just about done humoring her when it happens. A deep, nasty thump beneath the table. The whole table starts to shake, threatening to lift right off the ground. And then, the staid candle flames start flickering like mad, casting ghastly shadows on the walls. And then, a viciously cold wind cuts through the parlor like sharpened ice. The damned candles are dancing in mid-air around you now, singeing a hair here and there off the coiffed heads of these well-heeled guests. You notice your host across the table has her eyes open wider than they should go. A rivulet of blood dripping from her nose. When you come to your senses, sunrise has begun to creep in. The parlor is empty but for you and the woman in the old-fashioned dress who slumped dejectedly over the table.
He didn't show up. All that sound and fury, and no sign of his spirit.
Seance. A while, a cool shade gas station. You notice three kids sitting beside their family car. Pirate cashier inside. Children too embarrassed. Old brother leans in with a story. We're about an ancient battle still raging on in Boston streets. He tells it well. Aaron's come a stepping furiously at station. Yeah. Story group is telling still rages on. Boston. That's cool. Let's see, we got less than 10 minutes, so there's no way I can get it to your side of Florida before the end. So, let's just have a look over at the Gulf.
And by I'll see them far and long.
So,
When the night comes down for to take
let's see who we get to talk to. Dupree. Queen of Dime.
You look
Edna
good, honey.
Krabappel?
You got a laugh? You like a good story?
Mrs. Krabappel from The Simpsons, everyone.
I like to hear about people and make bets with them. I like to hear about the weird, handsome people. Get convinced by the rich jackasses who'll play blackjack and lose into the night. Dames who are lit cigarettes burning to the end. I want to be around furious people who use me and I use them. Are you one, stranger?
Yeah, sure.
Come close to me. Got any stories with ghosts or murderers or
Well, she's straightforward. I like that. Start with the let's start with the best one. Tell the story of the rider in the woods.
God damn, you're giving me the chills, sweetheart.
That's how you start the night.
I spent a night in jail once, and it were nicer than a prospect of going back to where I was born, you know, just to become what my mama always wanted me to be. When I was 12, she caught me kissing a girl once, and I felt like I would never get out of all the strands of her red-as-hell fury. I said to her, "But you said I ain't to kiss no boys, and I ain't." But she and I both knew that ain't what she meant. Hey, got any exciting stories? Like the movies?
Hell yeah. You're about the legendary Gwen Mitchell, richest and most ruthless bootlegger ever.
Honey, thrills is the stuff I live on.
Ooh, she's loving
That
this.
one will keep me going. The law? I can get by with the law. The law thinks I'm a victim, a sad girl of the streets, a damaged girl, a girl who ain't got no fate and whose daddy didn't love her.
Oh my.
My daddy's dead, and all cops are in my pocket, stranger. I will tell you that if I tell you anything.
That's why I'm out here in the
The
middle
law's
of the field.
bad for us Roman kids. It does not serve us. But you learn to get that sad, pale girl on. They love that. Sometimes you gotta promise them something more and... Well, I don't say it's pleasant, but you born in a body. Sometimes people treat you like you need the power taken from it. Hey, got any exciting stories?
That story, like something. The Boston one. Man who seemed alright with Jacksonville. Brothers. Man who made molasses in Savannah. Elegant woman. Really ghost. Sweet wife. Places lost. Great. Scenes around Miami. My family was fortune teller. The curse of Tell a story of the thirsty cotton picker in Savannah. Born as dog. Sugar cane cutter. Farm. Let him there. Self-focused. Probably won't work. Nope.
Sometimes a body needs to put all in on some dumb choice, you know? I mean, sometimes you have to bet yourself, I can't do that, shouldn't do that, but here's the stick, pal. When you chose something, you chose it. Be loyal to your choice. Take responsibility for it. Commit. Can't abide people who don't goddamn... Hey, got any
Most of my stories are actually kind of in comparison to what she's after. Oh, let's try this dude.
Well, they should let you make the movies, honey.
Well, I eventually could make it to California.
I don't know if you've been on the road that long, stranger. 'Cause you ain't got that exhaustion in your face about moving 'cause you have to. Sometimes you just can't with people. And you, well, you look so hungry for talk right now. Sometimes I'm in a hold'em with 5 other people and I look around and I think, I ain't been alone for 5 hours, and I might set fire to this whole place and walk out of here. You ain't there yet. Hey, got any...
That's good stuff. One a dog. Ain't your battle still raiding in Boston streets? No.
I remember my stepdaddy. He had a soft touch for me. A handsome, low-voiced man. He taught me how to grift. All you need is that light touch, he said. I know what it's like to have those eyes turn towards you and make you feel like everything. And then to be in the cold and dark when they turn away. Next time, let's up the... Why don't we spend some time with bourbon and 5-card stud? You bring the bourbon, of course. And when the moon's fuller, I might let you in on some secrets on life.
She was too spicy for me.
And this
But
will be
still
my
protection.
tale, my vagrant song.
Alright. That was kinda cool.
This will be my tale.
Alright.
My vagrant song.
Yep. Right. Want to thank everyone who popped in and anyone who pops in the future. If you like the stream, I'd really not only appreciate for you to like, share, and subscribe, but in particular sharing, a bit of tweeting, a bit of putting it out there. Really appreciate that one. Check out our Discord, our Instagram, Twitter, of course. Check out Streamlabs if you want to help out more financially. And check out emails. You'll find all links in the description down below. I will be back, not tomorrow, but sometime the day after, sometime on Monday, where shit will indeed hit the fan as I spend 24 hours gaming, talking to people in voice chat, assuming they show up, possibly looking at stuff that I don't have enough time to watch on Bearded Ramblings, and maybe even doing some shots of sauce. But with that said, I want to thank you so much for showing up. And above all else, check this game out. I'm serious. It's actually pretty cool. It's currently still free on Epic right now, so check that out. Alright, I'm out of here.